a feature designed to save fuel and reduce emissions by shutting off the engine during idling. This technology, while not mandated by the EPA, what? Let me repeat that. This technology, while not mandated by the EPA, has been incentivized through fuel economy and emission credits since the Obama administration, leading to its adoption in about 65% of the new U.S. vehicles by 2022. Zeldin criticized the feature on May 12, 2025, via a post on X, calling it a climate participation trophy. Oh my God. I love this guy. Adventure doesn't wait for a cracked windshield. Windshield defense by Racing Optics is like a screen protector for your phone. Triple layer, race tested, and installs in just 20 minutes. Save 20% with code JTS20 at windshieldefense.com. The clear choice. Hi-ho, and it's time for another Jeep Talk Show flagship episode. This is our flagship 2 episode. We do these every Thursday. In this episode, I'll be talking about the end of the auto start stop feature. Not teasing you, bro. I'm serious. And also, too, if that's not enough, and changes to the rules diesel owners have to deal with. Can you say deaf? And a big win for us and our trails. Yes, elections have consequences. Hopefully, it's the kind of consequences that you like. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, under Administrator Lee Zeldin, announced plans to address the auto stop technology in vehicles, a feature designed to save fuel and reduce emissions by shutting off the engine during idling. This technology, while not mandated by the EPA, what? Let me repeat that. This technology, while not mandated by the EPA, has been incentivized through fuel economy and emission credits since the Obama administration, leading to its adoption in about 65% of the new U.S. vehicles by 2022. Zeldin criticized the feature on May 12, 2025, via a post on X, calling it a climate participation trophy. Oh my God. I love this guy. Yeah. Gotta do that. The EPA's proposed action involves rolling back the incentives, specifically the off-cycle emissions credits that reward automakers for implementing start-stop systems. These credits, introduced over a decade ago, boost fuel economy ratings by 4 to 5% on EPA tests. Yeah, these are the same people that give our MPG stats on the sticker. So, and we know how good those miles per gallon stats are. So, particularly in city driving with frequent stops. However, the EPA has not detailed whether this means eliminating the credits entirely or modifying how they are applied. And no timeline for formal changes have been provided. Rule changes typically require a public comment periods and industry consultation, which could delay implementation. You know, if it delays it, 3 years or more, then it may not be removed. So just keep that in mind. So the 2018 Jeep JL Wrangler and 2019 Jeep Cherokee have been noted for their non-latching systems, requiring drivers to disable the feature each time they start the vehicle. I don't know about these, but I know on the 2021 Jeep Talk Show Gladiator, it is non-latching. At least it wasn't until I added the Taser system, and with adding the Taser Mini, I'm able to turn it off and it stays off. If incentives are removed, Stellantis, Jeep's parent company, might opt to make start-stop an optional feature, allowing permanent disabling or phase it out in future models, aligning with consumer feedback about its inconvenience. Duh. However, Jeep's hybrid models like the Wrangler 4xe and Grand Cherokee 4xe may retain refined versions of the technology as part of their electrified powertrains, where it integrates more seamlessly. You know, on electrified systems, it kind of makes better sense for me. I mean, especially if you're on the electric side of the 4xe, you'd like to keep that. Well, I mean, if you're not moving forward, do you need that? I mean, the battery's off at that point, right? I mean, for the most part. Well, I guess the air conditioner and stuff is still going on. Anyway, I'll think about more of this later. Many drivers find the start-stop systems annoying due to jarring restarts, sluggish acceleration, or reduced air conditioning performance. Not a good thing in Texas, pretty much any time of the year. So social media reactions to Zeldin's announcement were largely positive, with some calling it common sense. All right, proponents argue the technology reduces fuel consumption by 7 to 26%. I don't know about that. In stop-and-go traffic, and it cuts nearly 10 million tons of greenhouse gas emissions annually. How do you weigh a gas? I don't know. Critics, including some mechanics, claim it causes wear on starters and batteries, though automaker engineers have engineered these components for frequent restarts. I like that. I like heavier-duty starter. That's pretty good. All right, so automakers may resist abandoning start-stop tech entirely, as it may have invested in a 48-volt mild hybrid system that enhances the feature's smoothness and efficiency. Without EPA credits, they might prioritize customer-friendly options like permanent disability switches or disabling switches, which I think is a good idea. I mean, I don't know. They mandated seatbelts long ago. I just don't like the government telling me what I can and can't do. I mean, short of what is it? The freedom of speech, where your right to say something ends at the end of the nose of somebody else. You know, when you're throwing a punch at them, you can throw the punch, you just can't touch them because they have rights too. All right, so this move is part of a broader Trump administration push to roll back emission standards to 2020 levels. And for everybody that's taking notes, that's 204 grams of pollutants per mile for cars, 284 for trucks, from stricter Biden-era targets. That should be error. All right, in the diesel control news, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, again under Administrator Lee Zeldin, has announced plans to reconsider several emissions regulations impacting diesel vehicles and engines as part of a broader deregulatory push initiated in March 2025. These actions target rules established during the Biden administration, particularly those affecting diesel-powered vehicles, including heavy-duty trucks and light-duty models like some Jeep variants. Below is a detailed breakdown of the relevant developments with a focus on diesel emissions rules and their implications. Announced on March 29, 2024, the GHG Phase 3 rule sets stricter carbon dioxide CO2 emissions for standard heavy-duty trucks, including the vocational trucks, for example, delivery trucks and refuse haulers, trash vehicles. You know what I'm talking about, the trash truck, and tractors, starting with model year 2027, and phasing it in through 2032. It aims for reduction of 30% for vocational trucks, and 40% for day cab tractors, and 25% for sleeper tractors by 2032. The rule is technology neutral, allowing compliance via internal combustion engines, hybrids, or zero-emission vehicles, but critics argue it effectively pushes electrification due to its stringent targets. Yeah, that's my point, is again, it's the government telling us what we can do, but without telling us what we can do, hiding their goal to make us all go EV. All right, on March 12th, 2025, Zeldin announced a review of GHG Phase 3, citing its high compliance costs, potentially adding tens of thousands to truck prices. Now, if you're buying a truck, then you know this. If you're just a consumer and you have no idea, you won't realize that because of this, your prices are going higher because it costs more to get the items to the store where you buy them from. Given limited battery electric technology and charging infrastructure, this may not be a doable thing in this time frame. The American Trucking Association, ATA, praises the move, noting that modern diesel trucks have already reduced nitrous oxide by 99% since 1973. Oh, that used to smell good out there on the highway back in 73 or before, and PM by 99% since 1987. Repealing or amending the rule requires lengthy rulemaking process with public comments, potentially delaying changes. The EPA may relax CO2 targets or extend compliance timelines to favor diesel and hybrid technologies over ZEVs. Reevaluation of the 2022 heavy-duty nitrous oxide rule, part of Biden's EPA clean truck plan. This rule, finalized on December 20th, 2022, reduces nitrous oxide emissions from heavy-duty diesel engines by 48% by 2045. It extends the useful life of trucks, and I find this very interesting. It extends the useful life of trucks from 435,000 miles to 650,000 miles, and increases emissions systems warranties from 100,000 miles to 450,000 miles. This is for the MY 2027 trucks, raising cost up by 30%. So you can pretty much figure that your prices for goods that are delivered by these trucks are also going to go up by 30% or more. It also mandates heavier use of diesel exhaust fluid, DEF, and selective catalytic reduction, CSCR systems. Okay, so the EPA is reevaluating this rule, arguing it increases costs for goods, food, household items, for example, and driving up truck prices. The review aims to balance environmental goals with economic impacts, potentially by loosening NOx limits or shortening warranty periods. Trucking OEMs have already redesigned engines and after-treatment systems for 2027 compliance, and some plan to produce compliant engines regardless of federal changes due to state-level regulations. Example, California standards. So we may not be able to get around it. Separation of the federal government and state is good, but gee, I don't know. California can really mess things up. All right, so on X, some reports highlight concerns about diesel emissions equipment like DEF and diesel particulate filters, DPFs, which increase fuel consumption and maintenance costs while reducing engine life. The EPA has not explicitly targeted DEF or DPF rules, but its broader review of the Clean Trucks Plan could indirectly affect these systems. So no specific rollback of DEF or DPF requirements has been confirmed, but the EPA's focus on reducing regulatory burdens suggested potential scrutiny of after treatment mandates. Tampering with the I like this part. Tampering with emissions equipment remains illegal, and past EPA enforcement led to significant fines. Hello, VW. And of course, VW is not the only one that did it. I still think that was very clever. Is the OBD2, is something plugged into the OBD2? Oh, okay. Go to the second setting. All right. So the X users, including diesel owners, have urged the EPA to lower emission standards for pre-2000 diesel vehicles and eliminate DEF requirements, citing cost and efficiency concerns. These reflect broader frustration, but aren't conclusive evidence of policy changes. Yeah, I can see that. I can see this, especially for the older vehicles. All right, so the National Ambient Air Quality Standards, NAAQS, for PM2.5, the EPA revisited PM2.5. This is particulate matter standards, like it's stuff that's floating in the air, which impact diesel engines due to their soot emissions. These standards have been criticized for obstructing manufacturing and permitting processes. So some of you people may know that as rolling coal, which is always funny. I know. It affects people's health. All right, so relaxing the PM 2.5 standards could ease compliance for diesel vehicle manufacturers, potentially reducing the need for advanced after-treatment systems like DPFs in the future models. All right, so Jeep's diesel offerings such as Wrangler and Gladiator with the 3.0 EcoDiesel and potentially the Grand Cherokee with diesel options in past models could see changes. Relaxing nitrous oxide and CO2 standards might reduce compliance costs, potentially lowering prices or maintaining diesel availability in markets where electrification is less practical. For example, on off-road use. Man, somebody's thinking here. What is it? What would we report? The 4xe, you can go a whole 3 miles off-road in electric mode. While DEF and DPFs are critical for meeting current nitrous oxide and PM standards, any relaxation of aftermarket mandates could simplify maintenance for Jeep diesel owners, though tampering remains illegal. Well, they're really concerned about you guys modifying this stuff illegally. All right, so Stellantis may continue offering diesel engines in Jeep models for off-road and towing enthusiasts, especially if federal rules ease. However, California's stricter standards, the Advanced Clean Truck initiative, could complicate compliance if in certain states, as 5 states have adopted California rules with up to 10 more considering them. We need to get rid of California. This is the bottom line. So California's Air Resources Board, CARB, we all know that one, right? Everything causes cancer in California. That's why you should move out. Maintains stringent emission rules, including zero emission vehicles, ZEV, sales requirements for heavy duty vehicles. 5% ZEV sales in 2024, rising to 40% by 2032. The EPA waivers for California rules are not subject to congressional review, complicating federal rollbacks. Again, I think it's great that the state can do what it wants to do, but boy, I some of these things I'd like to see them do. California is never going to do them. So some manufacturers, including Stellantis, have invested heavily in the 2027 compliant diesel engines. They may continue producing these to meet state standards or global markets, even if federal rules relax. And that's sad. That's just the reality of it. Companies have put a lot of money into this already, and they're just going to stop doing it. And at the end of this administration's term, what's going to happen with the next president? We know it's not going to be Trump, no matter what he says about a third term. So there's no guarantee, especially for these companies that are trying to meet standards. It's very likely all these standards could come back and be worse. All right, diesel emissions contributing to smog, soot, and health issues like asthma. The Diesel Emissions Reduction Act, DERA, has funded cleaner diesel technologies, saving 520 million gallons of fuel and yielding $8 billion in health benefits. I don't know about those numbers. From 2008 to 2018, rollbacks could slow these gains, though EPA argues modern diesels are already 99% cleaner than older models, as stated before. All right, the EPA under Zeldin frames these rollbacks as restoring common sense and reducing costs for consumers and businesses. The agency's March 12, 2025 press release describes the actions as the greatest day of deregulation in U.S. history. Oh, yes. That gets some more dings. Targeting $1.2 trillion in regulatory costs. That's ridiculous. This is why China's winning. We get all this crap that we do. The ATA and American Fuel and Petrochemical Manufacturers, AFPM, there's a lot of acronyms here today, support the rollback, citing unachievable standards and economic burdens. Posts from diesel owners echo this, criticizing DEF and DPF for increasing costs and reducing efficiency. However, environmentalists and states like California oppose deregulation, emphasizing health and climate benefits. The extent of rollbacks remains unclear. The EPA may just adjust rather than eliminate rules, balancing the industry demands with environmental mandates. That's probably the safe way of doing it and a faster way of getting there. So no specific timeline for rule changes has been provided, and legal challenges could delay or block implementation. Yeah, we're going to have a federal judge make a what do you call it? A stay, or they keep it from going into effect. When they really have no right of doing this for the entire U.S. The EPA has not addressed diesel emissions equipment, DEF, DPF, directly, so changes are speculative based on broader clean truck plan reviews. Jeep's future diesel strategy is uncertain, as Stellantis also invests in hybrids and EVs, the Wagoneer S and Recon EV, for example, which could replace diesel options in federal and state rule as the federal and state rules diverge. So the EPA is actively reviewing diesel-related emission rules, including GHG Phase 3, the 2022 NOx rule, and auto start-stop initiatives, with potential benefits for diesel models like the Wrangler and Gladiator. Relaxed standards could lower costs, simplify maintenance, or improve user experience by addressing the start-stop complaints. However, the process is slow. State level rules, example, again, California, may limit impacts and environmental pushback as expected. So for Jeep owners, the most immediate potential change is the possible removal of the start-stop systems or their incentives, while broader diesel emissions changes depend on the EPA's final action. I don't think a lot of people out there have diesel Jeeps. But a lot of you guys have the Jeeps with the auto start stop. So I think making the auto start stop where you can disable it and stay disabled is really good for the majority of the Jeep owners out there. Hey Jeepers, Tony here from the Jeep Talk Show. You know how you protect your phone screen with a protector? Now you can do the same thing for your Jeep, Bronco, Ineos, or G-Wagon. Windshield Defense by Racing Optics is a triple-layered, race-tested solution that installs in under 20 minutes, right at home or with your local installer. Made in the USA and trusted for over 25 years, it keeps your view crystal clear and your windshield safe from rock, debris, or whatever the trail throws your way. Don't let a rock end your ride. Protect your windshield, protect your story, and keep the adventure rolling. And now save 20% with code JTS20 at windshieldefense.com. That's windshieldefense.com, promo code JTS20. Born from racing. All right, so in 2025, the Blue Ribbon Coalition, BRC, almost like a BLT, celebrated a significant victory for off-highway vehicles, OHVs, access in Glen Canyon National Recreation Area, GCNRA. I like those last three. In 2024, the National Park Service, NPS, well, so many acronyms, following a lawsuit by the Southern Utah Wilderness Alliance. What is it? We have a SUWA? No, we don't. That's a shame. Southern Utah Wilderness Alliance proposed a rule banning OHVs and street legal ATVs on 24 miles of roads, 24 miles of roads in GCNRA, including parts of Poison Spring Loop and Flint Trail. BRC opposed this, arguing it restricted recreation in an area meant for multiple use management. In early 2025, NPS proposed the rule's implementation indefinitely due to internal issues with its language and restrictions following BRC's appeal and public pressure. BRC read it and said, "What the hell does this mean?" That's my opinion. And they said, sorry. It doesn't make sense, does it? On March 5th, 2025, Representative Malloy introduced a Congressional Review Act resolution to block the rule, which BRC strongly supported. It's excellent. In May 2025, Congress voted to overturn the Biden-era rule restoring OHV access to the 24 miles of trails. Why does the government not like us? Why doesn't the government like for us to be outside and having fun? I just don't understand it. The U.S. House of Representatives passed the resolution and it awaited Senate action. BRC hailed this as a victory for public land access, emphasizing that it preserved recreational opportunities and supported local economies in communities like Page, Arizona, Kanab, I'm going to go with, Kanab, Utah. Ben Burr, BRC's executive director, and been on this show a couple of times in the past, expressed gratitude for Utah's congressional delegation leadership in reopening these trails. So the decision ensured that continued OHV access to iconic GCNRA trails, aligning with the area's recreational mandate. BRC highlighted the importance for diverse users, including those with disabilities, who rely on motorized access. So, I mean, everybody loves the disabled. We got special parking spots for them, everything else. So this closing of the trails to motorized vehicles, it affects those people with disability. There may not be a lot going out there, but maybe they want to and they can't because of these rules. I mean, this stuff wasn't thought through. So they rely on the motorized access and underscore the economic benefits for tourism-dependent regions. My God, not only does the federal government does not want us to have fun on the trails, they don't want the areas to reap the financial benefits of people coming to those towns and buying fuel, buying food, buying junk. eating at the restaurants, because that's one of the things you love to do when you go on vacation someplace is that you go to a restaurant and have a good meal. All right. So the Blue Ribbon Coalition, BRC, is a national nonprofit organization founded in 1987 based in Paleokio. I'm going to go with that. Correct me, guys. Idaho, dedicated to advocating for responsible access to public lands for outdoor recreation. It represents enthusiasts of off-highway vehicle, OHV use, motorized recreation, and other activities like snowmobiling. I've never seen that word before. Using a snowmobile, driving on the snow. Mountain biking, equestrian use. It's a horse, damn it. Good Lord. Horse use. And boating. BRC works to preserve recreational access to public lands, particularly in the face of closures or restrictive regulations, while promoting sustainable and responsible use. This is just good news. I mean, that's one of the things I love about the Jeep Talk Show is we always try to give you great news. Not always, because, it is reality, but we like the good news when we've got it. All right, we haven't done a Jeep Talk Show Gladiator update in a while, and this is going to kind of like be a pre-update. So I ran across this device. I think it was on the Tic Tac that they were showing this thing, and it's really cool. It allows you to monitor your battery on your vehicle. Now, I've already purchased 2 of these and put one on the Cherokee that's in the garage that I have to constantly update, charge the battery, and put one on the TJ, my wife's TJ, because it's always a crapshoot whether or not the battery's charged or not, because it kind of sits and doesn't go anywhere a lot too. We use the Gladiator for most everything. So this is the Ancel BM200. It is a battery tester and monitor designed to diagnose and monitor the health of 12-volt automotive batteries, including those in vehicles like the Jeep Gladiator. It can test battery conditions, check cranking and charging systems, and connects via Bluetooth to a smartphone app for detailed analysis. So this thing is really cool. I can no longer do I have to go out into the garage and look and see if what the battery voltage is. I have the trickle charger attached to it all the time, and I go out there and look at it, or just turn it on whenever I think the battery probably needs to be charged. Now I can actually, from my cell phone, I do have to walk over kind of close to where the Cherokee is because it's Bluetooth. I can see what the voltage is on the battery, and I can see if it needs to be charged. And I actually use the Amazon Echo and an Echo device out in the garage that I can just tell Echo to turn on the battery charger. So I don't even have to go outside anymore. Now I can look and see what the battery charge is, and I can turn the charger on. I can monitor what the charge status is on my phone and turn the battery charger off. Now, some of you may say it's a trickle charger. You can just leave it on there and it's not going to hurt anything. Well, that may be true, and I know that's the conventional thought process. However, I did have the prior battery on trickle charge for a very long time, and it stopped taking a charge. I just don't think it likes being charged constantly like that. Now, it could be the trickle charger I'm using, but I'm not going to risk it. Batteries are too expensive, so I turn it on and off as needed, and now I can do it when it actually needs to be charged. So, and just FYI, using this device, I saw that the battery charge got down to about 70% charge in about 2.5 days. And I would have thought, it'd be a week before I needed to charge the battery again. Well, now I know that for the XJ and whatever's hooked up to it, I don't think I've got any parasitic draw, but it may. I know that about every 2.5 days, I need to recharge the battery. And of course, it won't take real long to recharge it because you're charging from 70%, not 0. And that's where it was when I hooked up this device. So the Ancel BM200 functionality is to test the battery voltage. It gives you a state of charge, SOC, and state of health, SOH, cold cranking amps, CCA, and an internal resistance. So it also supports lead acid, AGM, gel, and EFB batteries. So this is kind of cool. I have not done the state of charge. I have not run the cold cranking amp, done any of these tests. I equate it to like you go to Walmart, they hook up that device and tell you if your battery's bad or not. And I think it also can tell you that whether your alternators function properly or not. So I have not run the test on it yet, but I haven't had it very long. And I did get it just for the one purpose of checking battery voltage and the percentage of charge from inside my house. So it's really cool. I can just, I've actually got a schedule set up now with the Echo so that every 2 days the charger comes on for 4 hours. And I'll monitor that with the app and see if that's going to keep it in the optimum level. So I've been thinking about getting out there and working on the XJ and making doing some updates to it that I need to do. And it's getting ready to be 100 degrees outside, so it's a perfect time of the year to start doing it. All right, so the Jeep Gladiator 2020 through 2025 uses a 12-volt battery, making the BM200 compatible. It connects to the battery terminals and pairs with the Ancel app through iOS or Android for real-time monitoring. The device is universal for 12-volt systems. It also works with the Gladiator 3.6 Pentastar, V6, the 3.0 EcoDiesel, or the hybrid 4xe systems. Though diesel and 4xe models may have a dual battery setup requiring testing of each battery separately. Well, this is kind of off a bit because the 2021 Jeep Talk Show Gladiator has a dual battery setup, and I didn't think about this, but I probably need to get 2 of these. Hook up one of them to the main battery and another one to the secondary battery. Of course, I do need to look at the configuration and see if there's even a way that I can hook up to the second battery. The primary and secondary battery may be in parallel. I don't know. I don't know how that works. 2021, I haven't needed to figure it out yet. All right, so the BM200 is useful for diagnosing battery issues that affect start-stop systems, remote start, or electrical components. In the Gladiator, for example, a weak auxiliary battery in a diesel or 4xe models can cause start-stop malfunctions. It didn't work. That's good. Or power steering issues. Wow, that's a hell of a deal, as noted in forums. And again, that's the Ancel, A-N-C-E-L, BM, as in Bravo Mike 200. And they do have newer models. I think they have a 300 and I'm not sure they have a 400 or not. But the BM200 is what I have on the XJ and on the TJ, and I can bring up the app and I can switch to either vehicle and see what the battery status is on them. I will be buying one of these. I'll probably get the BM200 for the Gladiator as well. That way I can use the same app and just switch between the 3 devices that I've got connected to our Jeeps.
From the mind of Nikki G.
Hey, this is Nikki G, and I'm out here with my chickens who are pretty funny, but not very funny. Not as funny as ducks. You know why ducks are so funny? Because they're always quacking people up. Come on, Eddie. Eddie the rooster. He's a little bit bigger than Henry, because, you know, the black ones always are a little bit bigger. What do you think, Eddie? Should we do another one? Take that as a yes. I went to a friend's 30-second party. Yeah, it was very disappointing. After the 30 seconds was up, it was time to go. Yeah, that's as good as they're going to get. Let me try that again. I went to a friend's 32nd birthday party. Yeah. Nah, Eddie said it worked the first time. All right, boys and girls, I'll chat you later and have a good one. Bye. Say goodbye, Eddie. He never shuts up, man. He doesn't know how delicious he is with barbecue sauce.
Dickie G never disappoints. Well, I guess technically he does disappoint, but it's still funny. All right, so the 5th annual Jeep Talk Show off-road event is coming up on June 7th. People will be arriving there on June 6th, Friday, at Hot Springs Off-Road Park in Arkansas. You know, I hear Hot Springs. I know it's in Arkansas. We got some people out there that have asked, Hot Springs, where's that? It's in Arkansas. And I'm sure there's more than one Hot Springs in the United States. So you can hop over to jeeptalkshow.com/contact, look up there at the top on your laptop or desktop, and click on press release at the very top of the page. That will give you more information and links where you can go and get you a campsite set up. It's coming up very, very soon. Hope to see you there. Hey, speaking of seeing you there, Natalie with High Left Off-Road, Jeep Talk Show, of course, but also High Left Off-Road and Gear Vehicles is back in Moab. This time it's a high lift event. So you can look for Natalie if you're out at Moab, May 18th through the 24th. She may have a JTS sticker with her. You know, if you're not a Patreon subscriber, it's time to pony up. I was thinking of the less aggressive approach. It's like, no, damn it, you just need to do it. Pony up and support the show. If you receive any entertainment or important information from the show, say thank you by subscribing. We have lost several of our subscribers. If you don't like the show, let us know. Let us know what you don't like about it. You could even tell me it's me. So just go to jeeptalkshow.com/contact and you go right there and you will find the link to our Patreon. Become a subscriber today. Hey, did this Jeep Talk Show episode get your engine roaring? Show us some love by dropping a 5-star rating and a blazing review on your go-to podcast platform. It's your way to help us expand our Jeep Talk Show family, and make sure you keep the adventure rolling by hitting follow on social media and joining our newsletter crew for the hottest Jeep updates and unmissable events. Got a burning question or a wild idea for our next episode? Fire it over to us at jeeptalkshow.com/contact. Also, too, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. I love the comments. Absolutely. Any comments you want to make, we love the feedback. It's you're taking a little bit more effort. It's almost like being a Patreon subscriber. It's better than becoming a Patreon subscriber. You're taking your time to reach out and let us and share your thoughts with us. All right, so thanks for cruising with us, and get ready for more thrilling journeys ahead.
Broadcasting since 2010.
You're my friend. You're my new friend.